Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play LSD Dream Emulator. And actually, you know what, I think I'll start out and let this cutscene play. Yeah, oh my god, the last like 5 days are really messed up. And actually, I remember the last dream, at least the end of the last episode, I was talking about some messed up dream I had because the game sort of just brought it out of me. I mean, it's not something I think about often, but it made me recall this really messed up dream I had when I was young. So there's just sort of a time lapse of a busy city, it seems. Huh. Oh god, music. Oh, that's really loud on my end. Like I haven't turned the volume up or down since the last video. So it's really loud on my end too. I'm just gonna let it play because I think it's meant to be that jarringly loud. Jeez. Lunacy, the Savage Dream. Well, that's pleasant. That was messed up. It's so weird how we haven't had a dynamic or a static dream yet, at least according to the game. It's always just in the middle. You'd think I'd at least have static, because, I mean, I feel like I tend to take my time a bit and observe all my surroundings, so you'd think that it would at least make things a bit more static, but no, I've just yet to have anything considerable. We're in the house again, and it seems pretty normal. I mean, if you can call anything in this game normal. Nope, whoops, hit the wall. Not that it really mattered, it didn't seem like anything too substantial was in there. We're in the city again. Things are a little messed up, but not too bad. Yeah, I feel like if I go in these warehouses, all that's gonna happen is I'm gonna get... Oh! Another shooter. Is it a car? This game seems to represent the city as a really messed up place. Or at least that's how... Oh, God. Ugh, what the hell are we? It's funny, the city was pretty normal, but now we're just in freaking hell. Jeez. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Oh. Now we're back at our house and everything seems pretty normal. Well, I mean, there's this weird freaking bartender guy, but what are you doing, bud? You're not allowed to just... You're not allowed to become two-dimensional. I'm sorry. That's not allowed. He's not even two-dimensional. He's two-dimensional from whatever angle we view. It's like he's one-dimensional somehow. Like whatever angle we try viewing him from, he always looks like he's just a line. It's weird. Guess let's look in the house. Hear those damn birds too. It honestly feels like just running and looking is more efficient than trying to sidestep, because it's so slow. So yeah, I guess continuing from last episode on the subject of dreams, I don't know. Personally, I never really remember my dreams that often. I mean, I feel like I only remember my dream, I feel like once a week almost. Like when I wake up, I only remember them like once a week. And I feel like, I don't know, 80% of the time, my dreams are just pathetically just pointless, more or less. Like, I don't know, I love it when I have a dream where, like, I'm actually doing something, like, unusual or unworldly, you know? Like, I like dreams. I'm sure most people can agree with this, too. I love the dreams if I'm, like, a superhero or if I'm just doing something really strange or if I'm, like, trying to survive in the wilderness or something cool like that. But half the time, my dreams are just, like... me living through a normal day of my own life, which is pretty pathetic. Oh, and then it's just over. Just like that. But yeah, normally my dreams are just pathetically, I don't know, normal. It's just, I mean, every once in a while, it'll be weird occurrences, obviously. I feel like almost anyone has weird dreams. But, yeah, usually, and on top of that, it's usually just like, if I have a bad dream, it's oftentimes just like, I'm just hanging out. Or no, in the dream, it'll just be like something weird happens, like, I'll be living my, a normal life, and then something stupid will happen, like, oh, I'll get called and my mom will be hurt, or something stupid like that. I shouldn't say it's stupid, but usually it's like problems that are like realistic. Like, I never really have dreams. What the hell? He looks high off his mind. Look at him. Look at his eyes. Jeez, I don't think those are normal. He's seen some shit, man. He has seen some shit. What are those things? I'm gonna go over there. But yeah, usually a lot of times when I have a bad dream, it's like stuff that could realistically happen. Or it's just stupid fears that make no sense. One thing I've noticed since I like got my, first car and everything, I've noticed I've had a lot more dreams, and this makes sense too, that I'd have a lot more dreams about my car, and I have a lot more dreams about like bad stuff happening with my car. Like, I've had dreams where, I don't, for whatever reason, I like decide to run from the cops, or I've had weird dreams where like I'm in the back seat of my car, like suddenly I'll just be driving and either I'll like lose control, or a couple times I'll like be in the back seat of my own car and it'll just be driving, and it's like I don't know how I got there, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So I have to like try to jump into the front seat and stop it before I like go off a cliff or something. It's so weird. But yeah, for the most part, I never have like apocalyptic dreams or anything crazy. Like, I never have dreams about like aliens or dragons or fantasy stuff typically. It's always just normal stuff in my day-to-day grind, which, I don't know. Personally, I like it when I have dreams that are like way out of the ordinary, just because I don't know, it's something different. Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna run into something. There's not really that much here. Yeah, unfortunately, you kind of get desensitized to some of this stuff in this game after a while, because you just see it so much. There's a lot of variety, but a lot of the stuff that varies isn't that significant. Like, the one thing I've noticed is you don't really see, like, the models in the game change that much. Like, the thing that changes more than anything is obviously, like, the textures and colors of things, like, the sky seems to change every single in every single area, almost. But it feels like, the actual models don't really change. And that would be something I think if they would have made, it would have really, I don't know, added to the game, I guess you could say. Like if some dreams you could have, like, these statues, like, decapitated, or, some of the buildings would be more messed up than they really are, you know what I mean? I think that would really add a lot to this game. And actually, I do remember, now that I think about it, I remember reading about, there was actually, I think this didn't really end up going anywhere, but I think there were plans to basically recreate this game in, like, Unity or something. Whoa, and I just died. I didn't even press the back button. I pressed forward, and I just fell off the cliff. I think they just placed me there just so I could fall and die. It's so weird how everything's, like, in those middle 3 blocks. Like, those 3 vertical lines, like, everything is in those. Like, according to the game, I've not yet had a dynamic or static dream. And there, we just got some stupid text that I won't even attempt to decipher. But yeah, dreams are quite, I don't know, crazy. Because it's kind of funny how, I don't know, there's a lot of, like, psychological theories of what dreams mean and what dreams are, caused by and everything. But it seems like there's no real, like, solid explanation. Like, there's just, I don't know, like, because I remember when I... What the fuck? Well, okay. Yeah, That's one of the reasons why I try to check these rooms so much, is you never know what you're gonna come across, and, what the? And he just freaking headbutted us into oblivion. Okay, then. What is that music? Oh my god, the ground, look at it. Okay, as I was saying, before that happened, yeah, I remember in, like, when I took AP Psychology, so I don't want to try to be, like, an armchair psychologist or anything, but it's kind of funny when I took Psychology, how you really kind of, I don't know, it kind of humbles you on how much, like, I know there's so many people out there who like to say how, like, nowadays, I mean, yeah, it's true that nowadays we know so much more than we did, like, even 20 years ago, or especially, like, 100 years ago. Like, scientifically, we know so many more things than we used to. But when you learn something, especially like psychology, it sort of humbles you and makes you realize how much we really don't know about, especially, like, us, you know, and especially the human mind. There's so much we don't know. Because I feel like, honestly, I remember when I was in psychology, like, we don't really know why or how things or people act the way they do. Like, we can quantify certain things, and we can put things into certain categories, and we can try to, you know, classify things into certain groups and everything, but we don't, like, truly know why people act the way they do, and why, especially why, like, certain mental diseases occur. Like, we know that there's trends, like, we know that hereditary, like, a lot of mental diseases are passed on hereditarily, but we don't, like, know what is the exact cause of them. And we can observe certain, like, effects of them. Like, I know certain people, I don't know the exact diseases, but I think, like, certain things like schizophrenia, there's, like, certain hormones and stuff that they have more than others, and it's weird stuff like that, but we don't really know why. What the hell? I keep running and I'm not getting anywhere. Okay, I think I got out of it. I'm gonna try going over here again. That's weird. I kept, like, getting sent back to where I was running. I want to see if that keeps happening. No, I seem to be fine now. I think, maybe? This road seems almost endless. Okay, no, I found the end. That's weird. Yeah, I kept getting, like, teleported backwards. Oh my god. Look at these textures. Ugh. I feel like... Yeah, so yeah, as I was kind of saying, if you try to study psychology, we really don't know jack shit about the human mind. And specifically when it comes to dreams, there's dozens of different explanations, or I guess attempts at explaining why they happen. Like, some people think it's just random firing of synapses, but I don't know. I disagree with that one, because if it really was just random firing of synapses, then why is it that all our dreams have oftentimes plots, and they've got things that are, in some cases, stories have, like, plot lines that are completely different than anything we've ever encountered in our life. So it's like, if dreams were really just random firing of synapses, then wouldn't dreams just be a cacophony of, you know, random sounds and shapes and things? You wouldn't have, like, dreams with characters and plots and actual things happening in them. So I tend to disagree with that idea that it's just random firing of neurons or whatever and synapses in the brain. And then there's other people that say that, oh, it's your brain attempting to make sense of all the information you've gathered during the day. But then it's like I said, why is it that a lot of times dreams, or I shouldn't say a lot of times, but why is it that oftentimes certain dreams might have things in them that have absolutely nothing to do with anything that's happened to you ever in your entire life, or even in that week, you know? I mean, I did say how a lot of times I have a lot of just typical dreams, but I wondered, like, I only remember, like, 0.1% of my dreams, so I wonder if the other 99.9% is just more of the same, or if I have some, I mean, I do have some messed up dreams every once in a while, like I said, everyone, I think, does, but, I don't know, I tend to disagree with a lot of the theories out there, and I don't really think they're theories, and I think, in a way, a lot of people, I think, especially in the more, I don't know, conventional sciences like physics and everything, they tend to really, like, look down upon psychologists, and I think they say that because that is kind of what psychology is there's not that much hard science in it. It's kind of just the attempt to find trends in certain things, you know? There's no real way to find empirical evidence, I'd say, to, like, prove a lot of things in psychology. I mean, there's certain things that you can more or less prove, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of things you can only, like, quantify and qualify to a certain extent. You can't really fully explain many phenomena. And I think that's why a lot of people try to say that psychology isn't even a real science. And I think that's kind of a stupid thing to say, because it's like, if you think about it, stuff like chemistry and physics, 200 years ago, it wasn't even a real science because we didn't know jack shit about it, you know? I shouldn't even say 200 years ago, probably like 300 to 200 years ago. We didn't know jack shit about it. And even nowadays, it's kind of funny, because I remember when I took, you know, college-level chemistry, there's a lot of stuff that's just, there's no real explanation for why it occurs. It just does. We just observe that it occurs, and that's all. We kind of just accept it for what it is, you know? It's kind of like you can only ask the question why so many times, it feels like, when it comes to science. Because that's kind of exactly what all sciences are trying to do. They're trying to answer, you know, why does this occur? And it seems like oftentimes you can only ask that question so many times. Or even in some cases, it feels like the more questions we ask, the more... Well, I should say the more questions we solve, the more questions come up, in a way. I don't know. This is going to be a bit of a philosophical episode, I guess. That's fine with me, though. Okay, there's not much here. But I do remember, I know when I watched this, I randomly recalled this earlier. There's a massive-ass crystal there. Okay, then. But I know that there's like a portal out in the desert in, like, the middle of nowhere. And it leads to an area that I'm pretty sure we have yet to go to at all. Like, it's an area that, when we randomly brush up against stuff, I think there's only like a 0.1% or a 0.01% of us going to that particular location. But I know we can come across it if we find it. But that's the problem, is I have no idea where it is. I thought it was in the desert, but I feel like I went through a large chunk of the desert and I didn't find it. And I think it only appears sometimes as well, so it's... just like everything else in this game, you can't really ever rely on something occurring. The hell? It's a lotus pot or something. Or not lotus, I don't know what you'd call it. Some weird flower. Back here again. Seems pretty normal. And I shouldn't say normal because I think this is sort of like the default skin for this location. Which is kind of funny because it looks really messed up, but I think this is kind of how it's supposed to look. I think I'll just keep running into stuff now. I'm probably going to start doing this a lot more, as I'll just keep running into stuff just because we're going to start sort of getting repeats of areas we've already been to, pretty much. Alright, we're back in the desert. And there's like this mirage that you can see that just disappears when you try to get close to it. It's weird. There's no music either. Kind of just, I don't know, feels really desolate. But yeah. Huh. This is desolate as hell. I really want to find that, like, portal thing I was talking about, but I don't have any idea where it is. I swear it was on the top of, like, a large hill, so, like, I'd think it would be at the top of, like, here, but obviously it's not here. If I remember, it's basically just, like, a window that, like, randomly appears in the sky, and that's the portal. So we have to, like, climb I don't know, a sand dune, I guess. I guess you could call them sand dunes, and that's how you get to it. Oh, and I think it's over. Yep. And yet again, we're still in like those 3 vertical segments. It's weird. Or is it horizontal? I don't know why I always confuse vertical and horizontal. Okay, no, it is vertical. I'm pretty sure it's vertical, I should say. The way I try to always remember is I think it was like one of my middle school math teachers in order to differentiate between vertical and horizontal, you have to imagine V being an arrow pointing down in vertical, and then with H, you might say like, oh, there's vertical lines in H too, but you have to realize that in H, it has like that horizontal cross section in the H, or I guess I wouldn't call it a cross section, but it has like the horizontal line in an H, and that's how you realize that an H is horizontal, or a horizontal is, you know, a line that's horizontal. You can't really explain it. Like horizontal and vertical, I guess, okay, yeah, I guess you just say vertical is going up and down, horizontal is going left and right, which isn't exactly a very specific description, but that's just how I always try to remember it, because for some reason, something as simple as that, I always confuse the two. Alright, I don't think much is going to happen here besides messed up music. Alright. Is there anything else I want to talk about philosophically? Is the dream over? It's weird how sometimes I'll just be turning around and it just randomly teleports me somewhere. I don't know if maybe somehow it considers me as hitting something when I'm rotating or what. Yeah, because like I'm right next to that right there, but when I try to rotate it doesn't seem to do anything. Oh man. The sky is just literally pitch black. That's depressing. I mean, if I had any way to choose, I'd say this is a bit of a downer, but like I've said, the game doesn't exactly really differentiate between what's a downer and what's an upper. That sound, though. I was saying this before, and I'm like, what is this, a racing game? Some racing game from the 90s? Where you've got arrows in the sky telling you where the hell to go. Whoa. We're in here again. And I got this endless pit. Yeah, I can't say there's anything else I really want to talk about philosophically. I might think of something later, but yeah. I don't know. Those are just my 2 bits, I guess, from earlier on. I just kind of hate people. I hate people from any walk of life, honestly, who just like to feel like they know everything, or they like to act like they know everything, or they like to act like a certain group or whatever that they belong to knows everything. I don't know. I just hate arrogant people, I guess, in general. Because personally, I don't know. This is kind of... I feel like this quote is kind of taken out of context a bit, but there's this quote that I remember reading a long time ago by the one Greek philosopher, what is it, Socrates or whatever? Yeah, Socrates. Or is it Socrates? Socrates? I don't know. I've heard different pronunciations, and honestly, because he's been dead for so long, I feel like no one can really definitively say how you pronounce it. But regardless, Socrates, there's this quote he said, and he said, "The only thing I know is that I know nothing." And I don't know, I feel like people that like to take things literally hate that statement, but personally, I don't know. I really agreed with it, because at least the way I interpret it is it's basically saying that you can basically never really be certain of anything, you know? Like, you should never try to firmly place your beliefs into anything, because you really don't know shit, you know? It's just the way I don't know, I kind of try to approach a lot of things. Like, and yeah, I know that if you act like everything's sort of out to get you, like, I don't know, the way I look at it is you shouldn't try to be paranoid, you know? Like, if something seems to make sense beyond a reasonable doubt, then yeah, just assume it's true. But my point is, I don't know, I just hate when people firmly grasp anything that sounds like a good answer, and they just never let go, more or less. And that applies to anyone, you know, whether it be someone who's, I mean, I feel like some people are probably thinking, like, oh, you're bashing on religious people, but no, honestly, I hate atheists who are, like, so against any other belief just as much as I hate religious people who are against any other belief and who are just, like, so firmly in their own beliefs that they aren't willing to listen to anything else, you know? I hate anyone who just is so firmly, I guess, in their ideas, firmly placed in their ideas that they're unwilling to listen to anything else. I don't know. I guess that's about it. You know what, I think I'll just end it here. And we'll end this philosophical argument with some suicide. How wonderful. But hey, it's in a dream, so it's fine then, right? Alright then. I think I'm going to end the episode here. Bit of a different one, but you know what? I feel like this is the sort of game that's perfect for a talk like that, just because this isn't like any normal video game, I'd say. I mean, I know there's an argument out there about, you know, are video games art? And I feel like if you look at a game like this, it really is art. I mean, sure, it's really old at this point, so it looks pretty disgusting, but in a way, I mean, I feel like especially with the way art is nowadays, I feel like people like thrive on trying to make things look offending and disgusting. So I feel like that just sort of further shows that this game is kind of art. So anyways, yeah, there's just my 2 bits on a bunch of random things. So thank you all for watching, and hope to see you next time.